Hello all, welcome to Ambari Cloud YouTube channel. Today I'm going to review various Iceberg migration procedures, Hive to Iceberg migration procedures. So what are the different migration procedures are available? And one is a snapshot, another one is migrate, another one is add files. Those are the things we're going to review. Then there's also one more. So snapshot, we're going to use this migration procedure for testing. The snapshot procedure generates Iceberg metadata for the original Hive table without modifying it in any way. So it's not going to convert Hive to Iceberg, but it's going to create a temporary Iceberg table for testing. This process enables you to verify how well the table integrates with various readers and writers. Basically, you want to make sure your Iceberg Hive table is properly converted to Iceberg. Then also you can do your application upstream, downstream application testing. And it is important to note that table snapshot are intended for temporary use only, and they should primarily be utilized for testing purpose. They allow you to experiment and validate compatibility without risking any changes to the original table. So definitely it won't change the data, but you want to make sure your downstream applications, for example, data type changes or connections, those things, make sure that your reporting application, your ad hoc queries are working properly. Once you complete your testing using the snapshot approach, then you're gonna do final migration. So part of final migration, then you have one procedure called in place. So for that, we're going to use a migrate procedure. The migrate procedure replaces the original table with an Iceberg table, right? So basically it converts, and then you can also keep the original Hive table as a backup table just in case if you want to revert back. Okay. Then generally migrate, we'll discuss more on the migrate side. Okay, why and what scenarios you're going to use my in place or versus the full table. So for migrate and snapshot also I have added a video. Add files I also added a video. Check those videos. So the full data migration procedure, basically you're gonna migrate from one location to another location, and then or one object store to another object store, or if you have a streaming applications running on Hive table, and Hive tables are so big and you can't convert everything in a single in-place procedure, then you're gonna use add files procedure. Okay. Now, once your Iceberg tables are exist, but you want to migrate from one catalog to other catalog, for example, you have a EMR catalog in cloud, then you want to move to Snowflake catalog, or you want to move from Snowflake to EMR Glue, or from Glue to Hive, right, or Glue to SC, wherever you want to, right? For that you're going to use register table. So register table is only for migrating an Iceberg table from one catalog to another catalog. So register table also we can use for undo drop, right? There's also a video uploaded. Let's say if you accidentally drop the table, but you want to restore the table, so you want to basically undo, so you can do that using the register table. Okay. So the tables already in Iceberg format can be migrated between different catalog and implementation. This one also can be used for undo table drop. Okay. So Hive to Iceberg snapshot. This is for testing. Before Hive to Iceberg migration, we may want to create a lightweight temporary copy of a table for testing without changing this source table. The newly created table can be changed or written without affecting the source table, but the snapshot uses the original table data file. That means you can create a temporary table, you can add more data, or you can alter the Iceberg table, right? And then you can test it. For example, let's say you want to convert Hive to Iceberg and also want additional columns. I want to change your partition key. You want to test it in Iceberg way. Then test your all your upstream, downstream applications. You can do that. But when you do any changes to a temporary Iceberg table, it will not impact your existing Hive table. When you insert or override into the run into on the snapshot, new files are placed on the snapshot table location rather than original table location. That means you can add additional data, so it creates a new snapshot, and that new snapshot belongs to the temporary table. Okay. When you finish testing a snapshot table, right, the Iceberg table, you can drop it, right? You can testing for not only conversion testing, maybe you can do partition key testing. Okay. So table created by snapshot are not the sole owner of the data file. That means there are temporary pointers, right, of the original table. So you cannot do expire snapshot on the snapshot. Expire snapshots, right? You cannot run it because we cannot delete it. So they will not allow the snapshot will not allow expire snapshot. When you delete data or when you modify it, it only affects your snapshot IDs, right? It will not touch your original data. So when you insert the additional new data on a Hive table, you won't be seeing on your temporary snapshot table, which is fine, right? Because we are using for temporary snapshot table for testing only. So when you do delete on the original Hive table, you will see inconsistency in your snapshot table, which is also fine. Again, keep in mind the snapshot table is for testing. Okay. So you have a Hive table, and then you're gonna do snapshot. That means you're gonna create an Iceberg table pointing to the same files. Now in Iceberg, you can add, modify, delete your own data, but that files belongs to Iceberg snapshot. Or at the same time, Hive can also add, delete, and data, right, which is not impacting your snapshot table. Once you've done your testing, you're gonna drop your Iceberg table, then you will have your Hive table as is. Okay, this is how the snapshot works. Okay, and on the snapshot table, the snapshot Iceberg table, you cannot run expire snapshots, but you can delete, insert, update, delete, whatever you want to do in Iceberg table, and it will create its own files because everything is a snapshot ID. So this is a safe operation, and we suggest every table you want to migrate from Hive to Iceberg, run this one. It's not that expensive. It doesn't cost anything from the storage point of view, and it won't impact your performance of your applications, and it won't change your application because your applications are still pointing to Hive table. Now, once you do that, then test your applications connecting to new Iceberg table, but mostly for reader and writer testing, not the performance testing. I would not suggest that because it's kind of a temporary table, right? But you could do that, and also you can change the partition key and test it here, and it will not impact anything. So particularly when you want to do a Iceberg migration, not only migration testing and also partition key testing, do the snapshot. But no matter what, any Hive to Iceberg, always run a snapshot first. Okay, that way then you make sure there is no specific Saturdays defined in your Hive table and all the data types issues and all that stuff. Okay. For snapshot, you're going to call a snapshot procedure, and then it creates a new table for you. Okay. Then once you've done your testing, then you're going to do migrate. This is called in-place migration. And so in-place migrate, basically you are using the same storage and you want to convert Hive to Iceberg table. So you're going to run the migrate procedure. So you replace Hive table with an Iceberg table. Then basically it keeps the same data files, but it reads the data files, creates the metadata layer. So basically, it copies the schema, partitioning properties in the metadata layer. And so basically it uses the same existing, right? And then it uses the same files, it does the mapping, and then does the original schema. The migration will fail, if any unsupported format. Of course, that's the reason we have to do in-place testing. The snapshot testing. That is important. And support formats are Avro, Parquet, and ORC. So which also helps you to understand, is there any other formats being used in Hive migration? So if it is, then you need to convert your Hive table to Parquet or Avro or ORC. We suggest mostly Parquet, right? Because it allows you open lakehouse for other tools. Then as I said, right, migrate, test it with a snapshot procedure. Okay, so you have a Hive table, then you're going to do migrate. Then as soon as you done migrate, then your Iceberg table will become the primary table, right? So all our applications are connecting to here. All the reads or writes are happening here. Nobody can see this Hive table because it's renamed to back. Okay, then after that, you're going to drop Hive table, and then you have Iceberg table ready to go. Okay, so for migrate, you're gonna use or you can rename to different name. Then again, migrate happens the same meta store and same storage. Okay, full data migration. So full data migration, to migrate Hive table from one location to another location. So for example, you want to migrate within HDFS to different location, or maybe if you migrate from HDFS to Ozone, or from one bucket to another bucket, or from one cloud to another cloud, right? Then you're going to use a full data migration. So let's say you have a Hive table, then you're going to copy the files, you're going to use add files procedure. Once you're done your validation, all the stuff, and again, even with the full data migration, make sure you do a snapshot testing, because that is required as a best practice requirement, right? It's not a official. It's not a software requirement, but it's a best practice, right? Run the snapshot. Then once you're done, you're gonna drop Hive table, purge Hive files. Then you have a Iceberg table ready to go. When in-place migration is challenging, definitely you have to go with full data migration. What are the challenges? High volume. So your table is so big, right? Massive. Then definitely don't go with the full data migration. So definitely don't go with in-place migration. Go with full data migration, because it's easy to do that. Because you can do part by part, that means snapshot by snapshot. Partition by partition, or maybe bunch of files by files, right? So in place, high volume, do not do in place. And even if it is a non-partition table, right, you can do parts, and you can let's say you have a 1,000 files. You can choose 100 files, and then attach to your Iceberg table. Then you can do full migration. Okay, I will upload additional videos for those. Like for example, massive table, how to migrate using a full data process, right? Instead of in place. Then you have a streaming application, right? A streaming application, you don't have a choice. You always better off doing a full data migration. Just so you have a partitions, then move it, then continue. Your streaming continuously runs. Then you move all over final stage. Then shut down your streaming. Then complete remaining files, and then you can do the migration. Okay. So streaming application, do not do in place. Okay. As we discussed, moving from one file system to another file system, one cloud to another cloud, definitely you have to use a full data migration. Later having the files, if you're having a continuous later having files, yes, you can do with in place, after in place, right? Not along with in place, but it's easy to do with the full data migration procedure. But even with in place, then you have a later having, you have to follow the full data migration procedure. Remember here, even after completing in place, now if you have a later having data, new files, then you have to follow the full data migration procedure to attach the files, the new files. Okay. Again, of course, you're not rewriting both in place and rewriting it, but large data sets, right? As I said, let's say you have a 1,000 data files then you want to integrate all those 1,000 data files, but your cluster is very small, or you want to have a small cluster. Yeah, you can take 100 files or 20 files or 50 files, attach incrementally. You can do that. Okay, but in place, you have to run the whole thing in one single shot. Then it's very if your drivers fails and then executor fails, then you have to redo it. But with incremental, what files are, you just move 100 files, attach it, move on another 100 files, attach it, move on another 100 files, attach it. You can do that, right? I will walk through that step. Then partition is very easy. Then you just do partition by partition, right? And then as new data coming into different partitions, particularly is useful when you are doing a streaming. Okay. Then one storage to other storage, right? Because we are using Parquet or ORC, then the file format is same in all storage, right? And then it's a better approach. In place will not allow you to migrate from one storage to another storage. Later having, yes, again, as I said, either in place or full data. Later having files are stored separately, and then you're going to copy it, and then we're going to use the add files approach. Okay, particularly in place, definitely need a additional storage, right? Because you're copying files to another location. But there is a reason for it, right? you're doing it in place, because it's massive. You cannot do it in a single shot, or you want to move to different storage or different cloud. Okay. There is some operational challenge because you're massive data, right? You're doing, incrementally, right? Then you particularly in the large data set, you have to do proper testing, what files are moving and what, right? But since you are moving a subset of files every time, then because it won't allow you to duplicate file copy. So even if you copy a duplicate, then immediately you get an error. So, but again, this is kind of a time-consuming operational challenges, but not difficult, right? So what are the steps for full data migration? Create Iceberg table, copy existing Hive tables here. You can do partition by, or you can do subsets, then attach each subset, or you can, if you have a cluster, you can do entire table. But particularly if you have a massive table partitions, then go with partition by partition. Then you can use the add files procedure, then validate data, drop Hive table, rename it, and then if there is a later rowing, work on those. Later rowing, partition versus non-partition, there's a different way of doing it, but I will be uploading those files, those videos soon. Okay. Now there is another procedure called register table, right? Let's say you already have a Iceberg table and it's in a Hadoop catalog, or it is in a Glue catalog, or a Hive catalog, or a Snowflake catalog, or an SC, or but you want to migrate those. Let's say you want to shut down Snowflake, move into Glue catalog, or you want to shut down Glue and move into Hive catalog, or maybe an SC, right? Or maybe in the future Polaris or Unity catalog. So you're going to use the register table procedure, migrate from one catalog to another catalog. Then this is also helpful. Let's say you accidentally drop the table, right? Then you can use undo, and by running the re-register the table. If you know the most recent metadata JSON, then you can re-register it. So there is already one video uploaded how to undo and register table procedures. Okay. So reach out to me, any questions. This is architecture related to migration. Okay. Thank you all.